Ladies and gentlemen, gals and pals, holes and poles, I am your host, the Armchair Grump, and welcome to another pack opening video. We're going to be doing more March of the Machine today. I was going to be doing a deck tech video. We're going to be building a new deck, but I simply wanted to try and get some more rare and mythic rares, and since we got 10 packs, that means we're going to be getting at least a couple more rares. Hopefully we'll get a couple rare wild cards in there. I know I have all these, but I want to do at least 10. So, in the long run, I decided I'm not going to do the Lord of the Rings pack opening videos, but I think I am going to crack them, actually, in order to just see if I can get any wild cards out of them, because I realized that there's probably, I'm going to be losing out on wild cards and stuff like that, so I will end up opening those. I just won't be doing videos for them. I'm not interested in the cards. I'm not going to be playing with the cards. So, all right. So let's just go ahead and hop right into it. Boom. So we've done quite a few pack openings for these. We've gotten most of the commons and uncommons. There might be some we're still missing. We're gonna probably go through the commons and uncommons relatively fast and just try and get to the rares because I'm interested in seeing what ones we've still haven't gotten. There's some that we're missing. It says we're like, I'd have to check afterwards, but we're like 70% or really high up in the percentage of done like collecting the set. So this one I like is Zephyr and Shapecraft. I think this could be a good popper card. The fact that it turns anything into base power toughness 4/3, draw a card. Also, I moved, just quick knowledge, I've moved into my, like, I got, like, a second room in my apartment, and it's kind of like my work room, so hopefully the audio's coming in a little bit better, because it's not as large of a wide open room. So, we moved in there, hopefully there's less audio, and, audio, it's less echoey, my voice is coming in a bit clear, so, yeah, hopefully this room will work out better. Hopefully this is what I'm going to be turning into my recording room and my video game room. So I'll have my, when I get my computer, I'm going to get it set up in here, my tower that is, and eventually I'm going to get a table set up in here for my hobby stuff. I have a mobile table out in my living room in front of my TV for doing like crafting, for model making, and stuff like that in Gunpla, but I'm probably going to bring that in here and get things organized in here eventually. So the only problem is it's kind of the air doesn't get filtered through here, so it gets a little bit stuffy. But other than that, it's pretty nice. All right, so sorry. Otherwise, that's why hopefully it sounds a little bit better. So I do like this card. This is a good popper card. We've got quite a few of those. This got bumped up a little bit. I think we were at 13%. Now we're at 13.4. I'll keep a track of this to see how this is going. Just your common popper, 5 mana, 2/3 backup, 1 flying. Common wild, final flourish. This one I don't remember getting that. No, I've gotten this one. 1 in a black, instant, kicker, sack an artifact, a creature. Target creature gets -2/-2 till end of turn. If it was kicked, -6/-6. This one I think is actually pretty decent. This would be a good pauper removal spell. The -6/-6 gets around indestructible. It gets around a decent amount of stuff. The kicker is not bad because you can also sack artifacts and not creatures. A lot of stuff in the past that only forced you to sack creatures. It's also instant speed. So yeah, I like it. It's not bad for 2 mana. The problem is even at common, surprisingly, this isn't a bad removal spell. I mean, there are more prime pieces of removal, but it also is not a bad sideboard tech because it gets around like a one of. I mean, even as like a one of, because it gets around indestructible. So, and the fact that you can sack an artifact like a treasure or a token or something to it. So, and then our first uncommon, Invasion of Zendikar. This is a decent one. I've actually kind of liked this one as a battle. It's only 3. It's only got 3 whatever. What are the battle? What do they call battle defense counters? It only has 3 defense counters, and it does everything that a lot of other 4 mana. Go get your 2 basic lands, put them in the battlefield tapped. But then when it flips, it turns into a mana. It turns into a creature, Vigilance Haste, 4/4 creature, but also it's a land It's a land that taps for any other mana. I'm sorry, mana of any color. So it counts as a land. It's land in addition to its other types. So it counts as one of your lands. So this would work out very well in a lot of commander decks. It also counts towards your land count and stuff like that. Our other one is, I don't have a playset of these yet, so that's great. Marshal of Zhalfir. Blue, white, 2/2, other knights you control get +1/+1. So Knight Lord, we don't have any of these, especially at the 2-drop slot. And then also it has white, blue, tap it, tap another target creature. So you can't use your other knights to tap those creatures down, but it itself, if there are creatures on the battlefield, you're not going to want to attack in with this. So if they have a nasty big boy, you at least can keep your lord safe, tap this, and tap down their creature and get in with your other guys for damage. Our alternate art card is from one of the Theros sets. Timurit, something like that. Chosen from Death, black. It's it's kind of like the opposite one to your the white version. They have a white one that's white. Its power is toughness equal to, or its toughness is equal to its your devotion to white, and then this one, black, toughness is equal to your devotion to black. 1 in a black, exile up to 2 cards from graveyards. You gain 1 life for each creature exiled this way. So it still has life gain, similar to the white one, the white demigod. But it also has graveyard hate on it. You only get life when you exile creatures, though. But the graveyard hate's not bad. It's 1 mana per card, but you can't do something like I can't remember. But the ooze that lets you eat a card for 1 mana. I prefer it just be like 1 black, eat a card if it's a creature gain life. But still, it's not bad. Okay, and our rare is Invasion of Tilvada. This is one that I'm interested in. The front side is just a return something from the graveyard. When it enters the battlefield, return target non-battle permanent card from your graveyard to the battlefield. It only hits your graveyard. But then the flip side, so it gets 5 defense counters. The flip side gives tokens +1/+0, so it's not even a full Anthem effect. But at the beginning of your instep, create a 1/1 white and black creature token with flying. I mean, it's not terrible. So it gives you basically 2/1 flying, right? But it says non-battle permanent, so it's not even creatures. Like, you could return a planeswalker or something with this. I think this is an interesting card, even if it's only like a 1-of or something. I think, like, if you play like black white like tokens, which I think I've said before, it used to be a deck in Modern. So, if anything, this is going to be seen play probably in Commander. Just a second. I still got a little bit of a stuffy nose left over from my last 2 weeks ago. I had a cold, and I still have this sinusy. It's probably this heat and this mucky weather we've been having in Michigan. So, but I'm interested in this card. It just, the flip side and the back side, they have purposes, but it seems like they're very slotted into very specific purposes. I mean, don't get me wrong, just getting tokens, but the fact that it only pumps your tokens, you think the deck's going to be in a token-themed deck. But just in any deck, I guess, is going to want to pump out creatures that then power themselves up, but it'd be nice for it to power up the rest of your side. But then the front side, obviously, being just a return permanent from your graveyard. So I like it. I haven't seen much play yet, but I haven't been playing Standard. So, all right, let's go on to the next pack. So that's one we have had before, of course. We're not going to see too many. Oh, well, there's our first. Really? I could have swore we've had the black-white ETB gain a life land. Weird. Okay. All right, well, I guess it's our first. So, yeah, there's a whole playset of these. I love the art on this one, though. I like the oily Phyrexian-ness to it. The crystals, like the blood crystals coming out, so that's really cool. The arts is what I always look for these, because, I mean, they're decent lands. You play them, like, you tend to play them in Pauper, you tend to play them sometimes if you're in a budget commander, stuff like that. Even if you're not in budget, they're decent 2-color lands. Because a lot of times, like, if you really need that mana, color fixing, you're still going to use them. especially if you're in past 2 colors. And then I just go for which ones I like the art on the most. Vengeant Earth. Again, I love things that give you, like, turn your stuff that is either not a creature. So like the last one, the blue one that turned something with base power, whatever base power, into something with base power 4/3. So you could depower something that's like an 8/8 into a 4/3 and then block it and kill it. And then also get to draw a card off that. But then also this turns a land into a 4/4 elemental, gains haste, and that it must be blocked. Well, the must be blocked this turn is kind of meh. But it could also, if you have like a more powerful creature, and they only have one creature, you could, you can do some blocking shenanigans with it, forcing them to block this creature instead of the more powerful one. But I like stuff like that, because then you just all of a sudden, for 2 mana, you get a 4/4 creature that gets to hit that turn. It's a 1-turn thing, but for the value of the card, 2 mana for 4 damage almost, or 2 mana for it's basically like a 4/4 pump spell. You're turning something that's a 0/0 creature basically into a 4/4 creature. So 2 mana +4/+4 till end of turn, basically. Not bad. It's also a force block. So, I mean, you think about that, but I also think it's not bad for Pauper, especially if you have a land theme. So I think that's a good one. Pyretic Prankster, 2/1 for 2. It transforms for 3 and a Phyrexian black. When it dies, each opponent sacks an artifact or creature. It could be useful, but at 3 mana and 2 life, or 3 mana and a black, the 3/2, there's better transform cards, in the new transform the new transform cards. So, and then like this one, I like this one. This is not a bad transform because it turns everything that's a 3/3, anything that's a 4/4, it turns into a 3/3, so it's gonna kill it. Anything that's more at least one toughness higher, and it's also gonna anything that's equal power and toughness is gonna die to it. So and you're not gonna trade. Yeah, so I like this one. This is a fun one for 2 mana, and they're also decent Pauper cards because they start off at least, a lot of them have at least a lot of these ones start off at their power toughness. So they're like bears. They're like 2/1s, 2/2s for 3. They're decent cards at what they are, but then later on in the game, you can power them up. So any card that kind of do that can get stronger later game. A lot of them usually tend to be like pump spells. Like you pay 4 mana, 5 mana, and it gets like +3/+3 or +2/+2 till end of turn, right? And it's a one-time thing. This one is a full transform. You get a more powerful creature. So that's why I like a lot of these transforms. Some of them are a little weak on the transform, but a lot of them are actually surprisingly decent. So we've gotten a bajillion of these. So we went from 13.4% to 14.1%. So we're not doing bad on the vault over here. And we got 2 more cards for our next rare wild. So we've gotten a bajillion of these. I think we've easily had 10 of these already. On the alternate art, Emoti, Celebrant of Bounty, Cascade, spells you cost with mana value 6 or greater have Cascade. I like the card. I hate the art. I don't say I hate the art. I hate the border. Completed Hunt Master. I talked about this one before. I like it. I like the fact that it's a sack card that continuously replaces itself, the sack target, every turn, so you always have a sack. Unfortunately, it's hard to do repeat sacrifices, but in sack decks, it's hard. When you tend to run out of sack targets. This one will continuously replace the sacrifice target with another sacrificable target on the that you can use on the next turn. 3 mana is just a little high. If this was like I said, like a 2/1 for 2 that did the same thing, that incubate, like give you like an incubate 2, even like an incubate 1. I think this would be like perfect. A lot of people I think would actually use these. All right, and our rare is Ayara. Is this our first? No, I think I've gotten this before, but Ayara, Widow of the Realm, 1 black, another sack creature. Tap sack, another creature or artifact. Ayara, Widow of the Realm, deals X damage to target opponent or battle, and you gain X life, where X is the sacked permanent's mana value. And then 5 in Phyrexian red. Transform her, activate only as a sorcery. Beginning of combat on your turn, Return up to one target artifact, creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. It gains haste. Exile at the beginning of the next end step. Yeah, this isn't... Surprisingly, I haven't been seeing this. I'm surprised I haven't seen this even as like a 1-of or 2-of or something in the red-black sacrifice deck. Maybe it's too slow. But the fact that when you sacrifice things with her, she gets to pop people in the face. It doesn't get to hit creatures, though, but you get to hit people in the face, and then her transform side, which getting to, 5 mana and then paying 2 life isn't a hard thing to do. And then you get to return things from the graveyard. So the flip side is actually a decent payoff. Being able to return artifacts or creatures, which the red-black sack deck loves. They play a lot of artifacts and creatures. And then, of course, you can then return those things from the graveyard. I would want to try, like, a 1-of this, or 2-of of this. Just because you get to pop people in the face. I'm not saying the deck hurts for what it does, but maybe there's just really nothing that is of... There's nothing that is just kind of, like, meh in the deck. That's, like, begging to come out, or something that's, like, really tradable out. I'd like to see if there's a red-black sack deck still in Standard that maybe has replaced her for anything that's cycled. But I like this card. This is obviously going to see some play in Commander. She's actually not a bad card just because of her flip side. Her flip, like, obviously, if she dies, her front side will cost more, but to flip her, or transform her, I should say, doesn't continue to go up. So, as the game goes on, she's not that much more expensive, and then you continue to return your stuff from the graveyard. Yeah. So, and then you could play fun things like Squeeze, and she's in red, so you could play things like Squeeze, where you could cast them from exile and continue to cycle them back from the graveyard. That would be fun. Yeah. All right. Next pack. I was gonna say, did we 14.2? Ooh, we only went up 0.1%. Really? So we must not have had like a whole bunch of these ones. I definitely have a ton of these. 5 mana, 3/3, enters the battlefield. Return target creature or battle card from your graveyard to your hand. If it would die, exile it instead. Wildwood Escort. I like that one. Unfortunately, you can't cycle itself, so there's no shenanigans. Phyrexian Archivist, 4/5 for 6. It's got reach, 2, and tap. Put target card from a graveyard on the bottom of its owner's library. I mean, it works good and sealed, because you can keep yourself going if you need cards if the game goes long, but that's about it. Otherwise, a 4/5 for 6. The reach is significant, I guess. Rouse Reinforcements. 1 in a red, create 2 1/1 blood. I was going to say blood, blue and red, blood. Blue and red elemental creature tokens. I think I've seen this used in... it doesn't give them haste, though, which would be nice. But I think I've seen this used in Boros tokens. In replace of, like, some of the goblin ones. So, hi, puppy. Sorry, I got a dog between my feet. I'm sorry. Do you want me to bring... I'm going to bring her bed in here in a little while. She's begging for attention. Inspired Charge. I think this will see some pauper play, possibly, or somewhere in a deck that needs it. I'm surprised I haven't seen it, possibly. There are... I feel like the tokens can go fast. Boros tokens can go fast, but when I've played against it a couple times, it feels like it goes to like turn 5, turn 6 times sometimes if it cannot find its mutate creatures, or it can't find... There tends to be like 2 other things. Mutate creatures, especially like when it'll stall out against things like life gain against Selesnya Angels or Mono White Angels, because they just can gain too much life, or they can bounce back if you're not fast enough. If you are not turn 4 killing them, it's hard to get off. So like 1 inspired charge or something to try and get that extra damage across. I don't know if there's a better card, though. There might be something that gives like just +2/+0 for 3 mana would probably be better. But I'd have to check. I still like it, though. It probably wouldn't be a bad pauper card. Also instant, so you could play defensive shenanigans. Invasion of Xerex? I don't know if we've been to Xerex. Battle Siege. 4 mana. When it enters the battlefield, return up to 1 target creature to in its owner's hand. Yeah, I think this is the one I was talking about. I talked about before. 4 mana to bounce 1 thing. not even at instant speed, it's at sorcery speed. Then 4 defense counters, and if you get rid of them, you get the flip side, which is a flying Veritix Paladin's power and toughness are equal to the number of creatures you control. If it was like 3 mana and it had flash, if it was like 3 mana and it had flash, maybe there was some you could see play somewhere. 2 mana, even at sorcery speed, if it was 2 mana, bounce a creature, sure. But 4 mana, unfortunately, no. I just don't think. I don't think it's gonna see much play. 4 mana is just unfortunate. I like the backside, I do, but you gotta pay 4 mana to just bounce 1 creature. So defensively, it's not gonna be great, especially if they're playing an aggro deck, which is what you want to use when you're doing bounce spells. And it doesn't have flash, so you're not going to be able to like hold up flashing your own creature or bounce one of their creatures, like having a choice between things. And then, yeah, unfortunately, I like the backside. All right, and then our next uncommon is Mirror Shield Hoplite. This is the one that copies backup abilities. It's a red-white vigilance 2/2. Whenever a creature you control becomes a target of a backup ability, copy that ability, and you may choose new targets for the copy. This ability triggers only once each turn. So, I like it, but I don't think backup is strong enough in Standard unless there is a deck running around, but I don't see anything outside Standard that's really using backup. So, in Sealed, I saw some backup theme decks going around, and they weren't bad. They're very good, and if you can like pile them up like turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, or like turn 2, turn 3, turn 4, because you can just shuffle them onto the creatures that are ready to attack, give them that backup, get that +1/+1 counter, or backup 1, backup 2, whatever the amount of counters in that ability below it for the turn, and it works pretty well. But I'd have to look at the rest of the backup stuff. We got an additional rare this turn, so that's not bad. Invasion of Ikoria, X green. When it enters the battlefield, search your library and/or graveyard for a non-human creature card with mana value X or less and put it into the battlefield. If you search your library this way, shuffle. So what? This is Green Sun Zenith for non-human creatures. So Green Sun Zenith is only green creatures. This one gets non-human creatures. So you can get a non-green creature, just can't be human. And then, unfortunately, it doesn't cycle back into your deck like Green Sun Zenith, but it sits on the battlefield 6 defense counters. If you can break that, you get a Zalortha, Apex of Ikoria. That's the name, Zalortha. It sounds like something from like Min in Black. Zalortha, Destroyer of Planets. Reach. For each non-human creature you control, you may have that creature assign its combat damage as though it weren't blocked. So, Thorn Elemental, I think it's Thorn Elemental does that. So even if they block the creature, you can even if they block the creature, you can assign 0 damage to the defending creature and put all of the damage to the player. So that's pretty powerful. So I think this is actually decent. It's a search spell for non-human creatures, so obviously you're not going to be putting it in human decks. It's X green. That's not that hard to do. I like it. I think it's a good card. And then I mean, you get a bonus side. A lot of cards. To be honest, you just get the front side. So possibly being able to get the back side is a pretty big bonus. All right, and our main rare mythic. What do we get? All right, so we get alternate art card, Hirobi Death's Wail. So this is from one of the Kamigawa sets. I don't know if it's the new one or the old one. So legendary creature spirit, 2 black for 4/4. Flying. Whenever a creature becomes the target of a spell or ability, destroy that creature. Whenever a creature. Well, that sucks. That also targets your creatures. I mean, you would probably build your deck around using this, right? Like, maybe use a whole bunch, like, you'll use like additional pump spells, or use like I can't remember what those spells are called, but the ones that what is it called? When you cast it, you can then exile it and cast it again during your upkeep. I can't remember what the ability is called. So you get to cast it twice, and hopefully it can target not just only your creatures, because it doesn't matter. Yeah. But you wouldn't want any of your own abilities to target. At least you want them to target, but you would want them to only be able to hit either their creatures, or you would want them to have creatures to target. So May abilities, up to something abilities, because you'd want them to you would want to have legal targets on their side of the field to hit in order to get rid of them. So I mean, I'm not saying it's not a bad creature. It's just it can kind of shoot yourself in the foot if you're not careful. So I like the card. I like the art too. It's very weird. It's kind of like a weird snake. I like the spirit. Like, it feels Japanese, the spiritiness of it. It's kind of like a mixture of a snake with, I don't know. It's really weird. I also like the talismans going around it, the fire and talismans. But then like the head, I can't. Damn it. I can't really point it out, but kind of like these arches. Damn. Okay, so like the arches at the top here are kind of like a snake. It's kind of like a viper. It's kind of like those, not a viper, yeah, what a viper, cobra. A cobra's got like flares its neck, and then it's got like a tongue kind of coming out towards the bottom. So yeah, I like it. Hirobi. I don't think, no, I can't think if that might be a word for something. It might not just be a noun for a name. All right, so next pack. So those are our first. That was the first Invasion of Ikoria we've gotten. I could have swore I've gotten another Invasion of Ikoria. Maybe I've just seen them played. I think I've seen them played. And that's our first Hirobi Death's Wail. So, we've got a couple firsts. All right. Oh, we only went up 0.1% again. I've gotten a ton of Dina Soul Steepers. Tons. Thornward Falls. This is another dual land. It's the blue-green one, so Simic. Enters tapped, gain a life. Aerial Boost. 1 in a white. Target creature gets +2/+2 and gains flying till end of turn. Convoke. Anything like this that has like Convoke and stuff like that, I think works really well in Pauper. Could be a sideboard card, even in Pauper or something if you need to get that flying damage through, or you need something. But I like it. Convoke's not bad. +2/+2, so you could easily, this could be a 1-cost card, 1 white, or 1 colorless. Attentive Sky Warden, 2 in a white, 2/2, flying, enters, when it deals combat damage to a player or battle, transform up to 1 target incubator token you control. The transform's not bad. I don't know if there's enough in Pauper to support incubator though. I don't know. There is some commons, but a lot of them tend to be higher. Like I see a lot at 4 and 5 slots where you get incubator tokens or decent size incubator tokens. Otherwise, a lot of the good ones are at uncommon and rare, where you can either produce a lot of tokens off of them, or yeah, they're like reusable token production, or like one time, like you can like dump a whole bunch of mana in them, tap them and produce tokens, or they just produce good value tokens. So, like, if this was a 2/2 for 2, I would actually see this being used, possibly, or like a 2/1 for 2, or even like a 1/2 for 2, because you just want that damage trigger, so that you could get free, turn in, like get your 4/4 incubator tokens and not have to pay the mana for them. So, but at 3, I don't know. I'd have to see the rest. I still haven't seen enough cards in common, uncommon, or I should say in common to get support. Cut short, 2 and a white, Convoke. Destroy target planeswalker that was activated this turn or tapped creature. Convoke. I mean, it has Convoke. I think there's other things that destroy creatures at lower mana costs, even with Convoke. So, in Pauper, the destroy planeswalker isn't going to be useful. So, I don't know. This might be like a possible sideboard card in some white decks. but otherwise, I don't. I think they've got, now that there's been a lot of Planeswalker, there's a lot of cards like 2 mana, like 2 and yeah, there's lots of 2 mana removal in white now. That allows you to destroy or get rid of Planeswalkers now. So this is probably just kind of redundant, and Pauper's not going to care about the Planeswalker part. Phyrexian Awakening, I've actually seen this one used. Like, this is a good uncommon one. It gives all Phyrexians Vigilance. All Phyrexians Vigilance, and you get an Incubate of 4 off of a 3 mana enchantment. So I like this one. This will be interesting to see. This is pretty decent in a token deck. I might actually, I don't know. If I could get some other, I might think about just make Phyrexian tokens. There might be an interesting commander deck I'm thinking about. Dina Soul Steeper. This one we've got a bajillion of. I like the art, but it is black-green, legendary creature, Dryad Druid. 1/3. Whenever you gain life, each opponent loses 1 life. 1 and sack another creature. Dina Soul Steeper gets +X/+O till end of turn, where X is the sack creature's power. And our rare is Mythic, wild card. I really needed the rare wild card. I'll take it, but I needed the rare. So we got, on this pack, we got our rare wild card. So 2, we got a Mythic wild card from the pack, and then we got our reward rare wild card from this opening this pack. All right, so we got 6 more packs, so that means we're going to get at least 1 more rare wild card. Perfect. Hopefully we'll get one from packs. We did get additional rare this round, so that's great. A Burning Sun's Fury. 1 in a red. Convoke up to 2 target creatures. Each get +2/+O. Gain haste till end of turn. I think it'd probably be a decent popper card. Of course, it's got Convoke, so I like that. Anything that makes them cost cheaper, cost reduction, the +2/+O. I think it gives it a chance to seeing some popper play, especially like if you're playing some sort of aggro-y deck. The haste is also useful, so you could suddenly give a bigger creature some haste. Stasis Field, enchant creature, has base power, toughness 0/2, has defender, and loses all abilities. This isn't a bad popper card for sure. Turns anything that's nasty into a 0/2, gives it defender, loses all abilities. So I could definitely see this. There's already a lot of 2/0. It costs less than things. Well, first of all, it's in blue. So if you're mono blue of some sort, or like you don't have white, so you can't use Oblivion Ring. You don't have black, so you can't use Oubliette. There's Settle something chain. I can't remember. There's a 2 mana chain, something that chains. There is a 2 mana one that's got hybrid white blue mana that does something similar. It taps it down, but it still allows you to use abilities. If it's got abilities on there, it still has power toughness. It still has certain things you can do, but the fact that it changes power toughness to 0/2, gives it defender, which means it can't attack, and loses all abilities, I think this is definitely could be a popper card. Especially if you're tight on color. If you only have blue, or you're restricted to colors that don't allow you to use, like I said, like O-Ring, Oubliette, or any other, have other good cards that allow you to exile more. So it only hits creatures, but that's not bad. That is not bad. Sunder the Gateway. We got a common wild card. Sunder the Gateway. 1 in a white. Choose 1. Destroy target non-token artifact or enchantment an opponent controls. Incubate 2. Incubate 2, then transform an incubator token you control. I think this could see some sideboard. It could also see, because the fact that it allows you to destroy something and incubate 2, or also allows you to incubate and transform. So the modal is great, allowing you to destroy an enchant. It says non-token, so you're not allowed to blow up Phyrexian tokens. But you're most likely not going after a token artifact, maybe, but like token enchantments. You're usually going after something that's nasty. So being able to blow up an artifact or enchantment and get an incubate 2 off of it, I think this is a good card. I think this is a good popper. I think this is probably a good sideboard card, especially if you're in white and you don't have green, so you don't have the new naturalize card that lets you do like 3 things: blow up enchantment, blow up artifact, blow up, and exile a card from graveyard. There's another one too that has like 4 modes, but it's sorcery. I can't remember. So yeah, I see this scene a little bit of sideboard play because it also, like I said, it gives you, it adds to your artifacts. Some artifact decks would like this. So I see a little sideboard play, if not at least pauper play. Okay, uncommons. We got Tandem Takedown, 1 and 2 green instant, up to 2 target creatures you control each get +1 and +0 till end of turn. They each deal damage equal to their power up to another target creature, planeswalker, or battle. I honestly see this scene a little bit of sideboard play. I think I actually saw this used in, someone was using this, they might have been testing it out, either in mono green Stompy or mono green, what was it called? We're about to do the deck tech for it in my brain. Storm the Festival. I don't know. Yeah, maybe they were like, they might have been trying it out. They might have been doing something. Maybe it was red green. Maybe it wasn't just maybe it wasn't Storm the Festival. I think it might have been red green aggro and Explorer. But they were trying it out. The fact that it's a one-sided fight, the +1/+0 also hits planeswalkers and battles. I like this card. I think it's a good card. It just kind of depends on where you're going to use it. Invasion of Dominaria. Dominaria. I kind of said it kind of like with a Midwest accent. When it enters the battle, so it's 2 and a white. When it enters the battlefield, you gain 4 life, draw a card. Again, I don't see that this could possibly be a useful card in Azorius Control in Explorer. Gaining 4, drawing a card's not bad. Obviously, I can't remember what supply is. It's like supply something. There was one card for 3 mana that did a little bit. That does a little bit more. That's useful in Modern. That's a sideboard card, but I don't think we have access to that yet. So this is kind of like a very tweaked down, like turned down version. But then the flip side of being able to get a 4/4 flying, you're not going to go after it that often. I don't think till later game once the board's stabilized, but it might be useful. You use a couple of your sharks, deal a little damage to the defense counters, get yourself a 4/4 flyer, vigilance. That way you can also defend with it. And then we got an Ancient Imperious as their bonus rare. 7 mana, convoke, trample, ward 2, enters the battlefield with 2/1/1 counters on it for each creature that it convoked. So this is great for mono green Stompy. We're probably going to build that too because a lot of the cards for mono green Stompy are also in Storm the Festival. Obviously, you got the Mana Dorks, you got the Trolls. I think they also use the Cavalier of Thorns, at least a couple of them. I think they use the Willowhaven, the enchantment that taps for mana. Yeah. So let's go ahead and see what we got for our... I mean, we got our rare, but let's see. Do we get a Mythic Rare? Do we get an Alternate Art Rare? Alternate Art Rare. This one's really cool. I like it. It's a Treefolk Druid. Eudora, which sounds like Ghidorah. Eudora, Grave Gardener. 4 and a green. Legendary creature, Treefolk Druid, 5/5. When another non-token creature you control dies, you may return it to the battlefield face down. Under its owner's control, it's a forest land. It has no other types or abilities. Another non-token creature you control dies. You may return it to the battlefield face down under its owner's control. Okay, so whenever one of your creatures die, you can... So, if it has, like, a morph... I wonder. If a card has a morph cost, and it's face down, can you still use the morph... I wonder how that works with morph. If a card is face down, can you always turn it up for its morph cost? Yeah, I wonder how this works with morph. I would have to check. Because I think the way morph reads, it says, if this card is face down, you may turn it up for its morph cost. Right? Unless it says, unless this is a 2/2 creature. Unless morph reads as, if this is a 2/2 face down creature. It might read that way. I'd have to read. Have to read how it works with morph. I'd like, if this works with morph creatures, allowing you to reuse morph creatures, that'd be a nice little combination. That'd be very interesting. But it also, so if that would work, so you turn morph creatures into lands, and then you can then remorph them to get them back, that would be a cool little combination. I would like that. But otherwise, it just turns your dead creatures into land ramp and allows that. That's not terrible either. So this would actually be interesting to use in something like Windgrace, because if something dies on the battlefield, you then get to include it into your land pool. Except it kind of messes with, because there's a lot of recursion in Windgrace for me. I can recur creatures from the graveyard in a lot of different ways. So again, like I said, I don't know. It would be interesting. But then having lots of lands, a lot of my spells also go off of how many lands I have. So I don't know which is more pertinent. Do I have more recursion, or do I have more things that allow me to, that care about how many lands I have? So I have to see. But it's an interesting card. I like it. If it interacts with Morph the way I would hope it would work, then it would be a really good card, I think, especially in Commander, because it's legendary. But you would have to, it would be mono green. So, but yeah, I like the idea of the card, especially if this doesn't work with morph creatures. I would like them to produce a creature like this that does work with morph creatures in that way, so that it would turn the morph creatures into something useful, and then maybe either increase the morph cost or something by a couple, and then that way it will allow you, instead of going to graveyard, it turns them into a land or something, and then allow you to reuse them from their face down position. That would be fun. All right, I still like the card. That is our first one, alternate art version. All right, let's go ahead and crack the next pack. This is pack 6. We'll have 4 left after this. All right, so we did get a first one of something. Dismal Backwater. I love all these Phyrexian arts. A lot of the art from these Phyrexian sets, pretty good. Something about it. I knew it doesn't look, so it kind of has that generic appeal that a lot of art does, but it also doesn't. It's weird. So there's a lot of generic art you see, but then it also, like, it fits well with what Phyrexia is. Like, all the dripping oil, the oil painting. I wonder if they are oil paintings. Like the smears, like you can see this smearing across. It just looks like oil painting, like an oil painting, and they smudged it like an oil painting, just down. Now this one, it's probably like a waterfall going down, but it looks like a smudged oil painting, and it looks, I like it. And then there's oil slicks coming off of everything, the black goo, the Phyrexian symbols everywhere, obviously. So, in a way, there are generic things about it, but it also has the very, very Phyrexian appear to it. So, I think, I like it. I like it. Sorry, my artistic side is, is brain-gasming over it. Portent Tracker, this is a good card. Oh, where would we go up to? We're at 14.6. Surprisingly, we haven't gone up too much. I guess we haven't gotten that many uncommons or any rares. Because the rares are obviously the highest point. I think it's like 0.5 or 1% or something that you go up when you get once you have your playset of rares. If you get an additional, it goes up like 1% or 2% or something. Uncommons are like 0.5 or 0.3%. Commons are like 1%. So I think these ones, I've gotten a couple of these, but this is like my second or third one. At least I've gotten at least one, the one that we saw. So Portent Tracker, I do think this is a good one. It's just an upgraded version of one of the other ones that was untapped target land, and now also lets you put a defense counter on a battle or remove one from one that you're attacking. So it's just a straight upgrade from a different one. So it's just nice to have another copy of one of the untapped target land creatures. I can't remember what the previous one. I think the previous one was also a satyr. The new one that we have is Aetherblade Agent, 1 black, 1/1, Death Touch. Okay. And then 4 in a Phyrexian blue. Transform only as a sorcery. So when it transforms, you get a Death Toucher. It deals combat damage to a player or battle. Draw a card. I don't think that's bad. I mean, obviously, I would like an unblockable. If it went from Death Touch to unblockable, that would be great. But if you pay 4 mana, Death Touch, like 4 mana and pay 2 life, and then, you start drawing cards off it. 3 damage is kind of meh. I mean, I prefer having more damage and having them have to choose between, do I want to take the damage or do I want to let them draw a card? Do I want to throw a creature in front of it and lose it, or let them draw a card? I still think that's not bad. But this is what I'm saying, is these are good pauper cards because I think of the fact that as the game goes on, yes, the cost can kind of be expensive, but a 1/1 Death Toucher for 2 ain't bad. I mean, 1/1 Death Touch for 1 obviously is kind of where you're looking for, depending like if it's a vampire or if it's a theme, right? It would be nice if it was like black, so it would obviously fit the mono, like the black. Like obviously that's restrictive, but then it would fit better into Grey Warden, like using Grey Wardens and or is it Grey Warden Merchant? I can't remember. I don't know why I said Grey Warden. I think that's from Grey Wardens are from Dragon Age Origins or Dragon Age. They're like the Jedi of Dragon Age. But black would fit better with I think it's Grey something Merchant, like Grey Merchant, allowing when what's it called when you I can't remember what it. I really can't remember. But when you have Devotion, that's what Devotion to Black decks in Pauper, they have some decent ones so obviously something like that. If you actually had black, it would be more interesting, or it'd be more useful. Just because I'm not saying that you would want it to be black, but since it is a 2 mana cost, if it was black instead of generic black, so I still think it's useful. A 1/1 Death Toucher, you're probably gonna get some damage in. The question is do you want to slot out something that they have? I think they have 2 other creatures at 2-drop that you lose a life and you draw a card for 2 mana. It's a 1/1 for 2 that you lose a life, you draw a card, and I think those are probably more useful. This still draws you a card on the flip side, but do you wanna wait for the payoff, or do you want to draw the card right away? I'm not sure. I guess it depends on kind of what you're going for. Temporal Cleansing is our next one. 3 mana in a blue. Sorcery Convoke. I think this will be a useful Pauper card. The Convoke, if you're playing a go wide, or if you're playing a decent sized creature deck, this will work. Obviously, Set Adrift is uncommon, unfortunately. I think it's not Pauper unless it got a scaled down version. So, unless there's a better one out there that has another way. Put the owner of target non-land permanent puts it onto their library, second from the top. Unless there's another one that lets you to put any permanent either on top or bottom of their library scenario. This allowing you to say tap 3 creatures or tap 2 creatures and use 2 mana. So unless there's a better kind of version for what this does, I think this is very useful. It has cost reduction. It works with a decent sized creature deck, and it lets you get rid of any permanent that's causing you trouble for at least 2 turns. If they want to, if they put it on second from the top. So, yeah, I think that'll be a decent one. So we got another copy of Timuret, Chosen from Death, black. Toughness is equal to your devotion to black, so 2-star. And then 1 black, exile up to 2 target cards from your graveyard. You gain a life for each creature card exiled this way. Not bad. And then uncommon wild card. And then our rare is... Hello. Omnath, Locus of All. I think this is the one that you get the alternate or full style art card for this. Yeah, I think that's what you get, the alternate art / full style art card if you buy the packs for this set. I think. Well, it is white, so it's one of each color: white, blue, Phyrexian black, red, green. If you would lose unspent mana, that mana becomes black instead. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, look at the top card of your library. Oops. You may reveal that card if it has 3 or more colored... You may reveal that card if it has 3 or more colored mana symbols and its mana cost. If you do, add 3 mana in any combination of its colors and put it in your hand. If you don't reveal it, put it in your hand. Beginning of your pre-combat main phase, look at the top card of your library. You can reveal that card if it has 3 more mana colored. So you get to get a card no matter what, correct? So you can hoard black mana. If you lose unspent mana, that mana becomes black instead. So tap. So if you have extra mana or if you have lands untapped, tap them, and it'll save them up in a black mana. It'll save them as black mana in your mana pool. Beginning of your pre-combat main phase, look at the top card of your library. You may reveal it, and then if it has 3 or more colored mana symbols and its mana cost. So if it's any tree color, if it's blue, red, green, if it's whatever, any of the 3 color wedges, or more, you get to add 3 mana in any combination of its colors and put it into your hand. If you don't reveal it, just put it into your hand. So you get to draw an extra card anyways. Yeah. So for 5 mana, 4/4, you get to net extra mana as black mana. Yeah, this isn't bad. I wonder how much play it's seen. It's definitely a commander card. Being able to keep your extra black mana. There's lots of filter cards and stuff like that. I'm interested to see what's in standard. I haven't seen a lot of stuff in standard. We're gonna look to see. I'm gonna look to see what's in standard and see if we can build anything. But I mean, I like the card. It's very all over the place. I mean, the fact that it just it saves your mana as black mana, so you can pile up mana for the future, and also you basically get to draw an extra card on your pre-combat main phase. So. And then you also get to add mana if it has 3 colors. Basically, you basically get 3 colors. I mean, you get to ramp in 3 colors. So I don't think this is a bad card at all. Yeah. All right, next pack. So those are that's our first of that one. Unseal the Necropolis. 2 and a black, instant. Each player mills 3 cards. Oh, we just got an uncommon. Okay, I was wondering what happened over there. So now we're up to 14.6. It is going a lot slower than it was earlier. Earlier, I was getting like 0.5%. I was getting like 0.3%. We're going up at 0.1% only. So maybe we're getting some cards that I didn't have multiples of. Unseal the Necropolis of 2 and a black. Each player mills 3 cards. When you return up to 2, then you return up to 2 creature cards from your graveyard to your hand. I like Macabre Waltz, which is just 1 and a black. Return up to 2 creature cards, discard a card. I don't know at 3 mana. I mean, maybe this might be usable, but 3 mana. I guess it kind of depends on your game plan, and it also depends. I don't know. Maybe this will be useful in Pauper. Then you return up to 2 creature cards from your graveyard to your hand. Each player mills 3 cards. I can see this being playable for 3 mana. It also, rather than like 3 mana, there's a lot of 3 mana like just draw 2 cards, lose 2 life cards. I can't remember what it is. I can't remember what that card is. But it's like 3 mana, draw 2 cards, lose 2 life, or just 3 mana, draw 2 cards in black. There's also I can't remember. There's 1 in a black. Target player draws 2 cards and loses 2 life, or you draw 2 cards, you lose 2 life. Or it's black. You draw 2 cards, you lose 2 life. But this one allowing you to pick from your graveyard, I don't know. At least you get to know what's in your graveyard when you play it. So you're like, I got a Phyrexian Obliterator in there. You know, I've got a card. I've got like the Vampire that'll draw me a card. Yeah, that's good. Rather than just drawing cards off the top of your deck, and you might get a land and a kill spell, or like maybe you need the extra beats. So I don't know. I guess it really depends on if your deck is a heavy creature deck. And also, if you gain something from milling cards, I think this could be useful in Pauper for sure. The question is, there's other decks it might be useful in too. There's a lot of mill themes and a lot of graveyard themes lately. So the question is, 3 mana, is it too high? A lot of those decks have 1 and 2 cost mill cards that they use. So the question is 3 mana too high? It also says up to, so this, like, if you dump a Grease Fang into your graveyard, this will allow you to get a Grease Fang, but you could, if you want to get more than one thing back, you can get it, but it also lets you only get a Grease Fang if all you have left is another target, is one of your reanimate targets. Alright, so I like this card, but I'm just not sure. It really depends on what you're playing. Ward Train Slasher, 3 in a red, menace. When it attacks a battle, double its power and toughness till end of turn. I think it's really just a sealed card. It's got 4 power, 3 toughness. It's just kind of a sealed card. Thrashing Frontliner, 1 in a red, trample. Whenever it attacks a battle, it gets +1/+1 till end of turn. Probably just another sealed card. Negate. I mean, it's negate. Negate and not remove soul, but the other one, counter target creature spell. Just, staples. First uncommon, Mutagen Connoisseur, 1 green blue. I like this card, but I don't know how many. Sorry, 1 green blue, Flying Vigilance. It gets +1/+0 for each transform permanent you control. It's a 0/5. It just really depends on how many transform permanents. Transform permanents are becoming more popular. Things that transform and things that are have transform on them. So there's a mixture. I think they work also with older transform cards as well. It's considered a transformed permanent. So even if it doesn't exile itself and come back transformed, if it just transforms and stays on the battlefield, then I think it's also considered it works with this. So unfortunately, if it was like a 0/3 that had the same ability, if it was like green blue and a 0/3 or like a 0/2, the 0/5 like 3 mana, it's kind of up there. I guess it just kind of depends. It kind of works as a payoff card with the Flying Vigilance, the evasion, but I guess it depends on what kind of deck it is. I say that a lot, but it really does depend on the deck. I don't know if Standard's got a lot of transform in what they do, but 3 mana is kind of high. I don't know if green blue right now is running lots of transform stuff. So, yeah. I guess green blue isn't high in the Phyrexian color pie. Like black, white, some red, right? So I don't know where a green blue, but there are other cards like battles have a lot of green. So, but I don't think you're going to play this with like a bunch of battles. So I like what it does, but it might not work with the current playset. It might work with better other transform cards in other older sets or something better as a payoff. Things that are easier to transform, that transform quicker, stuff like that. Things like it might work as even though it's a 3-drop, it might work in some sort of Delver deck, because like you have a lot of cards that flip over in Delver, in different Delver formations. You could have like I think it used to be called Canadian Delver. I think it was green, blue, and red. Yeah, green, blue, red was Canadian Delver. I don't remember what that color combination is. I can't remember what that. Yeah, I can't remember what that wedge is. So I know it was during the Tarkir set, but so it could be used as a decent payoff as 3 mana if you have like Delvers and something else that flips real easily, and then you turn 3 this, and now you've got, it's a 3/5 for 3 Flying Vigilance, and then it's just going to get more powerful. Or, you flipped a couple creatures, or you flipped a couple things, and then you have a flip bounce spell out there on the field. Or you have like a flip enchantment or something. You could have like some of those flip transform. You could have like a transform lands. You could have a right to Iklamoth out there. A Growing Rights of Iklamoth out there if you're like playing a creature form of Delver. Yeah. So I don't know. There could be something. You could easily Cascade. Is the Cascade card 4 mana or 3 mana? I don't know. You could Cascade into this as a payoff card, and all of a sudden you have a Flying Vigilance like 3/5er. There's a good way you could play this, but I just don't think in the current format there's probably much that's going to support it. Xerex Strobe Knight. There's a name for you. Xerex. I don't know if you pronounce the Z or not. It's 2 and a white, creature human knight, Flying Vigilance, 2/2. Tap it, create a 2/2 white and blue knight creature token with Vigilance. Activate only if you cast 2 or more spells this turn. Interesting. That the cost for activation is a little high, but it might be plausible. But a 2/2 for 3, it's got Flying Vigilance though. It'd be interesting. This would be actually not. Does it? Oh, it doesn't give. If it gave the knight Flying Vigilance, if it produced a 2/2 Flying Vigilant knight as well, that'd be great. But since it has flying, I can see this possibly as a card, because I have lots of 1-drops in my blue-white Flyers deck. I play just tons of 1-drops and a couple 2-drops and very few 3-drops. because of the way I play. I can't remember the angel's name, but there's an angel that's like 7. You like tap four flyers, pay a white, and then you get a 7/7 flying. Other flyers are indestructible. It has lifelink. You gotta get a. It's an alternate cost, crazy nice card. So, if I play this on turn 3, and I don't have the flyer, I could drop I could drop 2 1-drops or drop some other stuff, and then tap this to get a 2/2. But unfortunately, even if it didn't give it vigilance, I'd prefer it make a 2/2 flying knight. You know, I would prefer like get a 2/2 spirit knight or something, or you know. Yeah, it would work better if it was a flying knight. I don't know why it... Well, yeah, it has flying. I don't know why the flying then. What's the flying theme for? Like, what's the flying point for? But then it produces just vigilant knights. Oh, they should have given it flying. The flying would have been perfect. All right, so I've got plenty of these. I got quite a few of these guys. So we got an alternate art Rada Coalition Warlord, 2 red green. 3/3 domain. When it becomes tapped, another target creature you control gets +X till end of turn, where X is the number of basic land types among lands you control. This isn't bad for attacking. This isn't bad for piloting. It's 4 mana though. I don't think I've seen it played anywhere. I think there's another elf that does something similar but better in both domain. But it also has haste or something. There's another 4 mana elf that saw some play in red green aggro. In standard and in explorer at one point. So yeah, I like the card, but I just don't think it's powerful enough. All right, and our rare is Bloodfeather Phoenix. I've seen this played in some red green aggro decks, some mono red decks, so this isn't a bad one to get. This will fill out a nice play set. It's really not a play set of cards that we can build another deck. Bloodfeather Phoenix, 1 in a red, 2/2, flying, can't block. Whenever an instant or sorcery spell you control deals combat damage to an opponent or battle, you may pay red. If you do, return it from your graveyard to the battlefield. It gains haste till end of turn. So basically, you play it in burn spells decks with things like other prowess cards, and then when you burn face, if it's in your graveyard, you pay a red, return it, and then you attack with it that turn because it has haste. So either you can pitch it with other stuff, you can pitch it and put it in your graveyard, or you just play it as a 2-drop. What's that? You'll play it like turn 1, use the 1-drop enchantment that does a damage to someone's face, and then turn 2 you play this and it gets a 1/1 counter on it. Something like that. All right, that's not bad though. That's definitely a usable card. So our next pack, our 8th pack. Order of the Mirror. So we've got quite a few of these. Where do we go up? We're up to 14.9. Man, that is going slow. Order of the Mirror. Another negate. Disturbing Conversion. I like this as a pauper card. It just depends the mill, if you really need the mill or not. Otherwise, there are things at 2 mana that do its job better. Invasion of Amonkhet, 1 blue-black, 4 defense counters. When it enters the battlefield, each player mills 3, then each opponent discards a card, and you draw a card. Then the flip side, you may have Lazotep Converter enter the battlefield as a copy of any creature card in a graveyard, except as a 4/4 black zombie in addition to its other colors and types. The flip isn't bad, being able to copy something. It gains all the abilities and stuff. It's just a 4/4, though. And both in each opponent discards a card, and you draw a card. I think I've seen Invasion of Amonkhet being played in some mill decks, as well as some control decks. So it's seen a little bit of play, not like widespread, but a little bit. And the flip side isn't bad. Being able to copy something. I wonder if they're trying to copy something in their graveyard. It's a copy of a creature card. Okay, so I was wondering if it could copy a Planeswalker. It can't. Because if it could copy a Planeswalker, you could copy like one of the Jace Planeswalkers in your deck. So, but it is a little bit of play. I like the card. Obviously, since it hits both sides, and they discard, each of you mill, they discard, you draw. So, yeah, it's good. I like it. Streetwise Negotiator. One green, one and a green, 0/2 backup 1. This creature assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power. I like that. That's good. I think it. I'm trying to think of like what kind of deck. It could like for a turn the backup. I think this is probably one of the useful backups because it stays. You can either turn this into a 1/3. That's basically a, it's basically a 3/3 for 2, right? Or you could play some combat shenanigans with something for a turn. So, yeah, I mean, basically it could be a 3/3 for 2. Unfortunately, you can't use like fight spells and stuff with it, but obviously you're building a deck around that, a deck with that in mind. Another alternate art Yargle, Glutton of Urborg. I love this art. He looks like a crab frog. He's just a frog though, isn't he? I don't know why he's not a crab or a frog, or like, he looks like a crab too. But he's a frog spirit. Consuming every single drop of the oil would spell doom for most living things, but Yargle was not most living things, and he ate enough to clean up most of Urborg. That's funny. I was gonna say he's a spirit, right? So why would it affect him? We should have a playset or more of those now. All right, and our rare is Invasion of Theros. This is at least our second one of this. 2 and a white. When it enters the battlefield, search your library for an aura, god, or demigod card. Reveal it. Put it into your hand, then shuffle. The flip is Ifara, ever sheltering, has lifelink and indestructible as long as you control at least 3 other enchantments. When another enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card 4/4. This is one that I'm going to probably use in my enchantment commander deck. So I think it's decent. Obviously, it's very... Well, it says aura, god, or demigod, so it's aura themed, god, or demigod themed. And then the flip side, obviously, is usable in whatever. It does require, well, her top side, her top bonus, so getting lifelink and indestructible, you need at least 3 other enchantments. So the battle is not an enchantment, correct? Yeah, Battle Siege is a totally new type of card. So, so you can use it as a search out for god demigods also. I don't know, I'll be honest, I don't know if an Invasion of Theros can search out another Invasion of Theros. I think you can only, I don't know how the rules are written now, because I think they changed some stuff in the, when you were, I know they changed up with Cascade. You can only cascade the appropriate side of the card. I don't know when it's referring, if it's a flip side card, if there's 2 sides to it. If there's a search, you can only refer to the front side. I'd have to check, because the back side says God. But anyways, so she requires enchantments for the top part of the card. Otherwise, well, I mean, all of her. Otherwise, she's just a 4/4. So she would work well in an aura deck, right? There are some aura themed cards, but 3 mana to search out that aura, it definitely works well in Commander. It's a decent Commander card. I would have to see this set. A lot of these sets aren't super heavy enchantment theme, so if we get another heavy enchantment theme set, then I think this could play well. At least a heavy aura. Usually, if there's enchantments, it tends to have auras in them also. But if we get one that supports it, then Standard could probably see this battle getting more play. All right, next one, pack 9. All right, one more pack, and we get our next gold rare. Oh wait, did we get a? My brain's not working. Swift Water Cliffs. I like this. This is good art. So enters battlefield tapped, enters battlefield gain a life, and it's the red-blue one. Or sorry, blue-red. Urn of Godfire, 2 colorless, add 1 mana of any color, so it's a filter. And then 6 and tap, destroy target non-creature, target creature or enchantment. For 6 mana, it should just blow up any permanent. Like, it should say any non-colorless permanent or any permanent with one or more colors or something, because it's Urn of the Godfire, which Godfire is it? If I no, that's Ghostfire. I think Ghostfire is referring to Ghostblade, Ghostfire. I think those are referring to what's his name? The Ulamog, not Ulamog. The colorless dragon. I can't remember his name now. But maybe this doesn't. This one I think possibly because you see a little commander play or a little sideboard play because of the filter and being able to blow things up, but. Placid Rotten Tail. I want to see this play somewhere, even if it's in like a Pauper. 1 green for a 1/1 with Vigilance. It's also 1/1 with upside, but then also for 2 and a green, exile it from your graveyard. Put 2/1 counters on target creature. Activate only as a sorcery. I thought I saw this card and it didn't say activate only as a sorcery. Maybe that's a different card. But why? Why activate only as a sorcery? Why? Ugh, everything is being activated as a sorcery. It's really annoying. They'll have super. Maybe they're trying to temper because there were some cards in the last several sets that were like super powerful, and then all of a sudden maybe they're trying to depower some stuff again. Maybe they realize some stuff's too powerful. But it's like, well, the commons and uncommons don't need to be at sorcery speed. Jeez. They usually this doesn't. This isn't too powerful. If I'm putting 2/1 counters at something for 3 mana at instant speed, that's not too powerful. Corrupted Conviction. I think this one I want to see some play in Pauper and stuff. I think it's decent. As additional, so 1 black instant. As an additional cost to cast a spell, sack a creature, draw 2 cards. I know you got to do some damage somewhere. Oh, wait, I apologize. Still, I keep getting these mixed up. This isn't the destroy creature as long as it's been dealt damage just turn. This is a reprint of Village Rites, I think. I think it's the exact same as Village Rites. Just, it's a reprint. Or a reprint. I can't remember what it's called. I think it's called a functional reprint, where it's the exact same card, just different name. Alright, first uncommon, Oracle of Tragedy. 1 and a blue. 1/3, Human Wizard. When Oracle of Tragedy enters the battlefield or dies, choose 1. Draw a card, then discard a card. Shuffle up to 4 target cards with mana value 3 or greater from your graveyard into your library. So it's both ETB and Death Trigger. Yeah, so both ETB and Death Trigger. So you got not a filter. You got a loot. Shuffle up to 4 target cards from your mana. I mean, it's not bad. I think I've see some play. The loot, especially, is pretty decent. I don't think you're going to be using the second one as much, but the loot is definitely. This is a transform one I want to see. See some play. There's another transform one that I think is pretty good too. 1/3 for 1 defender, then it's 3 in Phyrexian red. Transform it. When this creature transforms into completed conjurer, exile the top card of your library until end of your next turn. You may play that card 3/3. Unfortunately, you only get that only when it first flips do you get to get that extra card. I kind of wish it was when this card or another card transforms or something. Exile the top card. That way, like, it would be kind of on theme with transform cards, but. Alright, in our alternate art card, Valduk, Keeper of the Flame, 2 and a red, legendary creature, human shaman, beginning of combat on your turn. For each or an equipment attached to Valduk, Keeper of the Flame, create a 3/1 red elemental creature token with trample and haste. Exile those tokens at the beginning of your next end step. 3/2. I like this card. There is, unfortunately, I wish he was a knight or something, because I have an equipment deck that would play him really well if he was a knight. But I do have some equipment decks that would want him in Commander. He basically just chucks out a whole bunch of elementals for each one attached to him. He also likes auras, so he definitely has a good commander theme to him. He's legendary himself, so he can be your commander. Unfortunately, he's only in mono red though. So he probably wouldn't be your commander unless you really want to stick to that theme. But I like what he does. He works like kind of like a is it Kimba Ka Regent? There's a Kimba, or there's a cat that pumps out 2/2s for each equipment attached to her. So now I don't know if there is an equipment or an equipment theme deck out there. I was thinking about standard, and I really want to try a 4 Mirrodin deck. So all those equipments that put out like 2/2 tokens, 2/2 rebels and stuff, this would fit perfectly in like a red-white version. Because you could just attach a whole bunch of those cheap artifacts to him and start pumping out 3/1 red elementals every turn and have him attack. So I'm thinking about it. I think these are legal in standard. I'm not sure. I have to check, at least. Otherwise, I would like to try some Explorer with it. All right, and our rare is... Hey, we got a rare wild card. Yes, finally. I was hoping for more than one, but we got it. So this should be our 11th one. So we're going to have 12 overall once we pop this one. All right. Hi, puppy. We're almost done. You're fine. I know. Is the ground not comfortable for you? So that should be 12. What? No. Okay. That's not right. I had 10 rares. So it must have been counting the rare before I even flipped it over. So as soon as I opened the pack, it counted the rare. That's very deceiving. It's very deceiving. So, okay, whatever. Whatever. It's annoying. It's like it feels deceiving. I don't know why it, like, once you flip it, or yeah. Whatever. It really is. It's really annoying me, the way they do it. It feels like not until you flip it, not until it adds it to, like, the cards go away and add to your collection should it be up there. Because I really thought I was going to have 12 rares. But okay, whatever. Windscarred Crag. This is the red-white dual land ETB tapped, gain a life. Another War Train Slasher. Another meh. I think it's just a sealed card. Anake Javelier. I actually drafted one of these and it's not bad. I just sitting there to be able to tap, do two damage. To player or a battle. It's not a bad, yeah, it's not a bad draft card or sealed card. Yeah, I like it because if you're on a kind of a stalemate, just being able to sit there and just ping them on the end of their turn. Also, it's got reach. Just being able to sit there and ping them, really nice. It's kind of expensive for a pinger, but if every card, like if most creatures have a ping ability, you'd be surprised how useful that is. Even if it's just 1 damage. If a creature's like a 6/6 and it had just a ping 1, and you're just sitting there as a stalemate, you're just like, oh, thank God I have this pinger. Thank God I can just do 1 damage a turn, because this game would just be a stalemate for forever. So I actually like this card in sealed. If you're going to play red, this is not a bad one, especially since it has that extra reach also. So, alright, and then War Historian. I always think this is a merfolk, but it's not. It's a human monk. 3/3 for 3, reach. As indestructible as long as it is attacked a battle this turn. So again, I think that triggers as soon as you declare it attacking. So once you declare attackers, if it's targeted in a battle, it gains indestructible. I think it goes on the stack. Once you declare attackers, that triggers and goes on the stack, I believe. So I think people can respond to it. It's a weird wording for me, but yes, I think that's the way it works. Halo Forager. No, I don't. It's not a triggered ability. I'd have to figure it out. I think the way this is worded, it's a state-based effect. I think. I don't think this is a triggered ability. Where is it triggered? Yeah, because it would say whenever. Yeah, it would say whenever War Historian attacks a battle, it gains indestructible. That would be like yeah, this one. Whenever it attacks, double its power. That's a trigger. Like that's a triggered ability. So I don't know. That's weird. I've seen this played quite a bit. I've even seen it played in Demur Rogues. I find it interesting. I actually like it. Let's see real quick. Oh, we're up to 15.1%. Yeah, so I've seen this played in Demur Rogues. It's a fairy rogue, 3 mana, 1 blue black for 3/1 flyer. When it enters the battlefield, you may pay X. If you do, you may cast target instant or sorcery card with mana value X from your graveyard without paying its mana cost. If that spell would be put into graveyard, exile instead. It works well. Unfortunately, I tend to have a lot of issues with mana, like not having enough mana into my rogues. Maybe I'm playing too little mana. Maybe I'm not playing enough draw spells. But yeah, I've seen people play with this quite a bit, and you'll get lots of counter spells, removal spells, and stuff in your graveyard. Obviously, this doesn't have flash, but I've seen a lot. Yeah, you'll get a lot of stuff in your graveyard that is just a one-time use, and so like your kill spells, especially your Drown the Locks, which you can use as kill spells, and this will just allow you to reuse them over and over again. It's a 3-1 for 3. It works pretty well. I've seen people use it. It allows you to just outpay stuff and double your kill spells, and I like it. So I'm thinking about using it. This is another transform card that's really good. Trample and Prowess for 2/2 for 2, and then for 3 mana, as little as 3 mana or 3 mana in a Phyrexian Blue, you transform it. Get Trample, Ward True, Prowess, Prowess, and I have seen this played quite a bit in like red-blue Prowess decks, red-blue spell decks. It's a good card. I like it. And then our alternate art is Quindi, Pride of Femereth, 3 and a white, 2/2, Human Knight, double strike. Creatures you control with first strike have double strike. That could be useful in a lot of areas, Commander especially. It could be fun seeing some play in some first strike decks. So, all right, in our rare, come on, rare wild card. No, we have this is a first. Yeah, this is a first. Sea Double, 2 blue. The spell can't be instant. This spell can't be copied. Choose one. If an opponent has 8 or more cards in their graveyard, you may choose both. Copy target spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. Copy target spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. A copy of a permanent spell becomes a token. Create a token that's a copy of target creature. Interesting. I could definitely see this. I mean, this is obviously could be used in Commander. Very, very, yeah. Unfortunately, you can't copy legendaries. They'll just kill each other. I mean, you'll just blow up. I mean, you can copy their legendary, sure, but you can't like multiple copies. It doesn't make them lose legendary status, so you can't like put multiple copies of legendaries on your side. There's quite a few stuff that does that. So, copy target spell. I don't know. This is 4 mana. This seems like it's very specifically oriented to combos and like a interesting defensive, kind of like a defensive spell. So like Commander combo stuff, you just don't kind of just include this in your deck. It's not like a kill spell. It's not like a really good creature. You really got to think about what you're gonna orientate this to. This could be a sideboard card, so maybe you're able to, like in response, use this card against like I'm trying to think real quick. Something like what's the word? Or what's the Storm. Like you could use this against Storm, or well, I mean, I think there's cheaper cards you could use against Storm. Copy spells. Obviously, you can just use copy spells versus like blue. There's a blue and Twin Cat, or like reds. There's a couple cheaper ones you could use to like copy their grape shots and stuff back at them in response. And yours go off first. I mean, this will let you copy permanents and then create a token that's a copy of target creature, copy spells. You can't copy itself, so I really think that it's oriented toward combos. So it's hard for me to get a grasp on like what this. It really feels like a Commander card to me. Like you really want to copy something of significance. Very fun. I mean, it can be fun. Don't get me wrong, but unfortunately at 4 mana. So unless there's a very interesting card combination that I just don't know about, that you can copy a creature or copy a spell either You can't copy your own stuff. So unless for 4 mana, there's something that you can copy that lets you go infinite. So you can do 2 things, and I wonder if you have to do them in order on the card, correct? So if there's just 2 bullet points, you have to do the first one first and the second one second, correct? I'm not sure. There's probably something out there that this goes with, like a combo that's just like goes off that I just don't know about. I'd have to see. I'd have to look it up. Okay, well, that is our last pack. I'm not seeing, like, I'm seeing nothing, not double, unfortunately. But we'll be back in a little bit, at least in my perspective. I'll be back in a little bit in order to do a deck tech. We're going to be doing mono green Storm in the Festival. We're going to try and build as much as we can. We're going to see what we're missing and hopefully earn that here in the future real quick. I think we're going to be very, very close to what we need. We have, let's see here, we have 11 rares, 7 mythic rares left. I did buy quite a few of the stuff that we need already. So what we're really filling out is some of the few key components that we're missing. I got most of the key components. I guess not the key. So we got most of the key cards. Like I got the Nykthoses. I think I got the Cavaliers. I got a lot of stuff for best of one, and we're gonna start. And I've got some of the sideboard tech, so we're gonna fill out most of the missing sideboard tech that we need, and then some of the planeswalkers and some of that stuff. We're gonna build it, see what we got, and we're gonna look at it. And I've been looking through the side list, so we're gonna go over and see what we think is what's gonna work best for us. So, and also there's some different, just a few changes that I'm thinking about, doing. So. Expect that coming up soon, and then we're going to be playing some. If we got it done, we're going to be trying it out. Otherwise, we're going to be doing some Green White Angels. We're still going to be playing Green White Angels. We'll go back and forth. We'll play some different stuff. All that kind of stuff. We won't abandon what we've been playing. Everything. We'll try out tons of different stuff. I'm also going to be doing some looking at the card pool that we have, and we're going to be looking to see what we can build here in the future. So I will see you guys later. If you're looking for anyone to play with, of course, check us out on Twitch. It is the Armchair Grump, all one word. There should be a link down here in the description. Also, if you're looking for anyone to play with on MTG Arena, go ahead and send us a message over on Discord. My Discord is linked on Twitch in the About section. Otherwise, if I'm streaming, if you just scroll down a little bit, it's down there. There's a link to my YouTube and a link to my Discord. Hop in there, talk with us, chat if you're looking for someone to play with. I'm on PlayStation 4, but there's a lot of games that have cross-platform. I play a lot of Overwatch 2, so I'm playing with the chat all the time. I play multiplayer games if you're looking for someone to play with. So come hang out, chat with us in Discord. Come hang out and chat with us over on Twitch. And if you're looking for playing one on Arena, if you're looking to play with anybody in just any other games that you see me playing over on Twitch, come and join us. So I will see you guys later. You guys have a good one. Bye bye now.